Farming gives what you give to it. Yes, it gives you back tit for tat, wealth for wealth, rich for rich. It gives you back care for care and love for love. If you don't put it in, nothing comes out. So, on today's episode, we will talk about the richest farmer in the world. And I've actually made a little research on him already, and I just got to know him some days back. Not personally, anyways, on Google. Because from Google, you can know anybody, right? Yes. So the farmer in question is Quin Yinglin. He's Chinese and he was born in 1965. What I actually want to drive home from this research is a lot of points. So by the time I go through his biography, we'll try to drive home some stuff from this because we all need to learn. A wise man once said that a wise farmer learns from others, an average farmer learns from his mistakes, while a foolish farmer knows it all. So we don't want to be like that foolish farmer who believes he knows it all but knows nothing. Rather, we want to be like the wise farmer who learns from others. So let's learn from what the famous agripreneur and farmer did, how he ran his life. Now, a little about him. Quin Yinglin is a Chinese agricultural tycoon, billionaire, Communist Party member, and the world's largest or richest farmer. He is the chair and president of the pig farming company Muyang Foodstuff and is one of the richest people in China. According to Bloomberg Billionaire Index, his net worth was estimated at $20.7 billion as of January 2022. Now, Forbes wrote that he earned his wealth as the country's largest pig breeder in the world's biggest pork market. Now, he's a pig farmer. That is just the short of it, right? He was born in 1965. He's a farmer. He made his money from pig farming. That's just what we will learn from those three. So, in the course of this, we'll get to understand why I actually decided to talk about this man today. And subsequently, we'll talk about other farmers. Let's learn from them. Let's know what they did. And let's drive home points that can actually help us too to actually earn our own success. But please, you have to pardon me in the course of this podcast because some words might be mispronounced. So if you know how to pronounce them better, they will be shown on the screen. So you can easily just help me pronounce. Okay? It's Chinese and I'm a Nigerian. Anyways, so in 1989, at age 24, Quin Yinglin graduated with a degree in animal husbandry and began working at Nanyang Food Company. While working there, he met his wife, Quin Yinglin, who also studied veterinary science at Zhengzhou College of Animal Husbandry Engineering. And that college is now known as Henan University of Animal Husbandry and Economy. Now, in 1992, after 3 years at Nanyang Food Company, Quin Yinglin quit his iron rice bowl job, and he and his wife moved back to his hometown to start their own business in the pork industry. Now, they started with just 22 pigs. First 2 points being driven home is first, Quin Yinglin married a like mind. He got a mate who loved what he does. He got a marriage mate who also was into what he does. So he graduated with from animal husbandry, and the wife studied veterinary science. So it's actually very closely related. So she could actually support his business. Now, they started with 22 pigs, so they decided to start small. Yes, you might say in Nigeria, 22 pigs is a whole lot, or in Africa, 22 pigs, whoa, that's a whole lot. But to them, that was small. Yes, to them, that was small. So in as much as you started with 22 pigs, nothing is stopping us from actually starting as whatever you want to start in agriculture. Nothing stops you from starting small. Just the only thing is keep it consistent, keep it growing, keep it consistent. Now let's learn more about him. Now the operation grew rapidly, and by 1994 they had 2,000 pigs. 1997, the pig rose from 2,000 to 10,000. And in the year 2000, Quin Yinglin founded Muyang Farming. Now, the company that actually became Muyang Foodstuffs was actually first called Muyang Farming. Now, in 2010, the company received an international finance corporation loan and investment. Now, by 2013, Moyan Foodstuff Limited had two wholly owned subsidiaries and one participating company and was raising more than 1 million pigs for slaughter per year. On 28 January 2014, Moyan stock started trading on the Shenzhen Stock Exchange. Third point, the accepted loan. Now, Quin Yinglin did not start with loan. He didn't start with loan. He never started with loan. He started with his savings. He worked, raised his money, moved back to get started. Now, while he was working, while the business was growing, he was already at 10,000 pigs, right? His company, which was Moyan Farming, was already producing more than 10,000 pigs. Before he actually received International Finance Corporation loan and investment. Before he even started receiving loans, his business was already growing. He had, the business was consistently growing. So he knew he could actually be able to stand with the loan, he could develop with the loan, and he could actually grow his business. So he accepted it. Now, Moyan stock price rose significantly when pork prices increased due to the African swine fever outbreak in 2019 and the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Now, if you're a pig farmer or you know about farming, if you know what African swine fever did to pig farmers in 2019, you will pity pig farmers. A lot of them dropped out because their pigs were dying due to that disease. Small scale pig farmers, medium scale pig farmers dropped out of the business. A lot of them dropped out of the business. Those that was not affected were those that were sited very far away from contact with other farmers, or even so far away that they owned most of their own facilities. Those that owned their facilities and were able to control the disease were the ones that remained, but a lot of them dropped. And the COVID-19 pandemic, we need not be told the damage that also caused to several businesses. Now, during the swine fever crisis, Moyan was able to thrive because it owned most of its own facilities than his competitors. Now, allowing him to actually better control the disease spread in his own farm. Now, Quin Yinglin said that the swine fever outbreak brought both benefits and harm, and that the epidemic will force the weaker companies or farmers to actually completely withdraw, but it's actually an opportunity for the bigger farmers to make profit due or from the dropout of the weaker farmers. Now, amid this crisis, Moyan Foodstuff worked to continue increasing the number of their pigs slaughters, and also they automated their pigs houses. Now, Moyan Foodstuff is the largest pig breeder in China. As of 2019, the company slaughters 5 million pigs a year. Now, that is actually it's quite a large number. 5 million pigs a year. Now, Quin Yinglin serves as the company's president and chair. According to 2015 Forbes list of Chinese billionaires, Quin Yinglin was the richest person in Henan, Henan, and the 67th richest person in China. He and his wife had a net worth of 17.5 billion, 4.15 billion RBM. What does that mean? I'll actually try to get that anyways. Yeah, and according to Huron, the same year, he had a net worth of 20.5 billion, making him the 98th richest person in China. Now, by 2019, Quin's net worth had risen to over 100 billion yuan, bringing him to the 15th on the Huron list and making him the only local entrepreneur in Henan worth 100 billion yuan. This increase came as Moyan Foodstuff was doing well to the rising price of pork. Now, due to the rising price of pork meat, they actually grew. He made a lot of money from that. Now, on 2019 Forbes list of Chinese billionaires, his family's wealth was estimated to 117.38 billion RMB, and he became ninth on the list. Wow. Oh my God. He was the second Hainanese entrepreneur on the list after Zhu Jiayin. His wealth jumped again in 2020 as pork prices rose due to African swine fever. Now, another point I want to drive home is, in the midst of crisis, opportunities abound. Now, the question is, what things, or what are you trying to put in place to ensure that your business is able to withstand the shock of unforeseen circumstances? Now, COVID-19 pandemic has taught us a lesson, right? It has taught us a whole lot, that anything can happen. And as a business, you need to actually have your shock absorbers to help you not to fall out of business. Now, this is actually one of the lessons I also learned. He owned most of his facilities, making it possible for him to control the disease adequately. So if we are able to have, or if agricultural businesses are able to develop shock absorbers that helps them actually manage unforeseen occurrences better, I think that would actually go a long way in helping more farmers survive in the business. Now, Quin Yinglin is so far known as the richest farmer in the world, and he owns 883 million shares of Muyang stock, making it 40.6% of the company. Now, his wife, Quin Yinglin, is also a billionaire, and together they own the majority stake in Muyang. And something that impresses me the most is that his son, Quin Yinglin, is the vice president of the Muyang Group. You see? So he didn't leave the business just to he and his wife, excluding his son. It is a family business. And this is actually one thing I want to actually emphasize today. Most farmers get into the business and leave their children aside. That doesn't work. In fact, if you want your business to outlive you, if you want your business to grow, if you want your business to develop, if you want your business to keep making a name, even after you're gone, if you want your business to outlive you, then you have to get your children involved. We have to get our children involved in this business. Farming is one thing that is never going to die. It's rather going to be a basis for growth. It's going to be a place for the next generation to fall back and gain ground from. Now, if we keep leaving our children out of it, letting them pursue, or obviously it's good to let them pursue their passion, but why don't we from childhood help them to love what puts food on their table? Yes, it's what you instill in your child that they actually strive to become. From a young age, if you sing to your child every morning, play instrument with him or her, as time goes by, or as time goes on, you will notice that child will develop love for music. If you dance with your child every morning and you train him or her on how to dance, as time goes on, you would notice that your child will get fond of dancing. In as much as you might have other passion, which is going to discover later in the future, you would also know, or you would note that love he has for that thing you've taught him or her will not go, will not actually vanish. He won't abandon it. And there is this farm. The reason I'm saying this is because there is a farm in Osun State. I don't know, for most of the people in Osun State, I've forgotten the name of the place. Iwaraja, yes. Iwaraja. I think you can, for those of us who are from those areas, for those of us listening who are actually from Osun State, you'd actually agree with me that there's a farm there, a very large farm. Now, this man started this business, had lots of compartments. He had the pig farming compartment, very big. He had the poultry farming compartment for the layers or laying birds. He had for the breeders. He had for the broilers. He had a lot. He had for turkey. He had rabbit pens. Then he had places for oil palm. He had oil palm plantation. And with this, he also had space for farmland. This man has died and his business crumbled. One of our lecturer actually has a farm there, and I've visited that place on several occasions. I couldn't help but actually bleed at heart when I see the investment of this man draining. And you can never expect, and he has children. So the first day I got there, I actually asked my lecturer the reason why his children are not involved in business. And it's like, when you train children up and you don't train them to love what you do, then they have no other option but to pursue separate course. Now, nobody says your child doesn't have the right to pursue his passion, but as a farmer, we all have to make sure or have to ensure that we have that child that actually loves what we're doing. The reason is because agriculture is a business that has to continue. Okay, no matter what business anybody's into, even as a farmer, you may have other businesses that you would run in. It doesn't obstruct it, it doesn't bother it. Now, your child or your children or our children would have to learn the ways or the businesses that their father did to put the food on the table. So that is actually one thing I'd like us to actually take home from this podcast episode, amongst other things we've learned from this Chinese entrepreneur. So for more episode or for more interesting episodes, stick with us. And if you're a first time listener, I'm so much happy to have you. I'm so much happy to have you in the family. So if you're a new listener, thank you so much for being part of the family. Do not forget to actually like, comment, and share. Then tell us where you're listening from. Are you amongst the family of our Chinese billionaire? Yeah, a wise man once said that a wise farmer learns from others. An average farmer learns from his mistakes, while a foolish farmer knows it all. Now, I don't know it all. That's why I try as much as possible to derive knowledge, and I try to learn from others. On our next episode, we are going to also see another farmer who has actually done a lot for himself and who is actually living large. Thank you so much for listening once again. To our old family members, thank you so much once more for sticking with us. This is GAC Podcasts, and I am Akajusha Salvation. Enjoy the rest of your day.